on my cash stack. High yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners run.
Good evening, runners. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. We have an amazing show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about how the short squeeze is back on silver and huge crypto news for the markets. As always, let me bring in my good brother here, Ricardo Hamilton, aka M.I.M.S, making it make sense. Bro, I heard the Zoom tonight was fire.
Man, fire Zoom tonight. You know, we're going to have to play this back to back. You know what I'm saying? Back to back, getting wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Sharing this information, just pumped up and excited. I hope people are ready for what's getting ready to take place in these markets and in the economy and everything else. For some people, it's going to be the worst of times. And for some people, it's going to be the best of times. But we want to make sure that we give you the information and empower you so you can make the right decisions, so you can have a more prosperous and blessed 2024 and beyond. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Amen. I'm doing awesome. Had fun last night on our Memorial Day special. And just in case people have not heard, we are on a 30-day blitz, silver and gold for all. So we're having everyone on our team is pitching in, and we're having 2 Zooms every single day. So there's no excuse to not get this information. It's at 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard every day. We don't take off the weekends. We don't take off holidays because we have a lot of people to educate and help during these times. You can join that Zoom by just going to silverforall.com. And they just keep getting better and better, man. So I'm excited to see people winning and people getting this knowledge.
Yeah. Make sure y'all plug in fire presentations. This is the time, folks. I'm telling you, by the end of 2024, people who've been watching this information and they haven't done anything, they're going to be upset with themselves. You really are, because there's some activity that's taking place in the precious metals market right now globally. And you want to make sure that you have a position. You want to make sure that you have some of these assets. So definitely plug into these presentations that are getting done for you, because that's what we're doing it for. We're doing it for you. We're accumulating the assets. This is what we've been doing, and we're not going to stop. We're doing this for you to help you see and understand the value and know where to get these assets at the best price.
Amen, brother. And this is a new company, so if you haven't talked to us in 2 or 3 months, you're probably overpaying for your gold and silver.
Facts.
All right, let's see where the assets are. We have gold sitting on top at 23.58, down just a little percent this week. Nvidia up huge. They reported their earnings. They're up 20%, which I know if you come from crypto isn't a lot, but in the stock world, that is a lot. They're an absolute behemoth here. Oil's really fallen. Remember, oil used to be like 3 and 4, but the Saudi oil company is gone to 7. And then we have silver at $32.13. It's very close to taking over oil too, up 3% this week. And then we have Bitcoin at 1.3 trillion, down just a little bit. And I also wanted to point out that Ethereum is now ahead of MasterCard. Think about that. Almost everyone has a MasterCard in their wallet. Yet Ethereum has a bigger market cap than them with their big run up this week. So, M.I.M.S, anything you want to break down just about these assets and where they're at right now and how people need to prepare?
Yeah, they're going much higher, folks. Okay, gold is going much higher. Okay, silver is going much higher. Crypto is going much higher. Trust and believe that the de-dollarization that's taking place globally is accelerating. And what that means is that they're going to print, governments are printing more money and money, right? Debt, units of debt, these pieces of paper. They're printing more of it. And the more that they print,
I think I lost
the
you for a second.
institution.
Oh, no.
The government. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, you're back.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because the governments, the institutions, the central banks, they are buying assets because they're hedging against the inflation and the collapse of the fiat currency. So this is why the wealthy continue to get wealthy, because they convert the dollars into assets that rise during inflationary environments. And we are in an inflationary environment. There's a massive global uncertainty right now. So even while gold is and silver and Ethereum and Bitcoin where they are now, I'm telling you, they're going much higher. And so it's important that you get a position, that you start even a little bit can be a whole lot for you when you really start to understand the world taking that fiat paper and buying these assets, because the fiat paper is going away. It's going away. It's not valuable. It's worthless already. It's lost 99% of its value since its inception. Okay. It's very important that people understand that.
And we're definitely going to break that down for you guys tonight and give you even more evidence. As you can see here, this is another, we're going to cover this in a little bit, but Donald Trump says he is very positive and open-minded to cryptocurrency companies. So he has definitely changed his tune on that. And like we said last week on the Tuesday call, guys, as we said, Ethereum ETF was going to get approved. Sure enough, the crypto was kind of shocked that ETH got this ETF. So, I mean, it had a huge run up on Monday and Tuesday of last week, and it's really held here. And soon, I think it's going to be going higher. The once the ETFs start buying, and we're also going to talk about an equivalent of an ETF called an ETP for United Kingdom in just a little bit. M.I.M.S, any Ethereum ETF crypto stuff you wanted to break down a little bit?
Well,
there still really hasn't been any big movements.
Yeah, what really gets me excited and what I'm waiting for is an XRP ETF, which we know is coming. Some people are saying later next year. People don't understand just how big and how massive the relationships and partnerships and things that Ripple is doing. And that particular asset is for when the reset is like fully on. Everything now you're seeing are the layers. You're seeing stuff in the back end getting in position for the reset. And so that's why you're seeing Ripple and things where they are now at 50 cents. But understand something. This is so massively undervalued. For you to be able to acquire Ripple, I mean, XRP right now at 53 cents, okay, is a blessing. The same way we say it's a blessing to get silver at, we used to tell people it's a blessing to get it under $30, okay? But it's still a blessing to get it at 32. Anything under 50, anything under $50 for silver is a buy. But even then, it's still a buy, because I'm telling you, silver is going hundreds of dollars to hundreds of dollars. We will see that happen in our lifetime sooner than most people really understand, because of the dynamics are accelerating. Okay, I just want you to understand that we are at war with China, with Russia, and everything in the Middle East, and this is real and it's accelerating. Okay, I know most people don't keep up with this stuff because they have a normal day-to-day 9 to 5. They're just going about their lives. But when you see what these politicians in France and other countries are doing and what's taking place, things are picking up at an accelerated rate. And you just want to have a hedge. You just want to have an option. You just want to be prepared to the best of your ability. And one of the best ways to do that financially is converting that dollar into assets like physical silver and gold and getting into the blockchain.
And yeah, Bianca, I put out a call about 2 months ago that I'm buying Ethereum every single day. So I buy $20 a day. But yeah, I would say anytime ETH is dipping, I would try to get as much as you can right now. Because a lot of people are calling for an ETH summer, another ETH DeFi summer. So I think once those ETFs start buying, it could really skyrocket. And here's some more news that would make me even believe that more. Breaking Wisdom Tree Fund secures the FCA approval for Bitcoin and Ethereum ETP. And like I said, those are like ETFs here. They're exchange traded products. So very similar to what we call an ETF. So Wisdom Tree gets a physical Bitcoin and physical Ethereum. They're set to begin trading on May 28th. So essentially now, normal people who usually buy stocks in the United Kingdom can now start buying these through, their different brokers that they use to buy stocks in the UK. And this is really cool, Ricardo. I posted today. If you had bought Bitcoin with your $1,200 stimulus check in 2020, it would now be worth $12,390. So this is why it's so important, guys, that it's not how much money you make, it's how much you can save in assets that accumulate and go up over time.
Yeah.
And Ron, whoever invited you here, or if you're watching on Ricardo's or mine, just get with us. We have the best place to get silver, the best prices by far. We document this every single day. We go into 4 different retailers and show how our Gold and Silver Club has the best price, and it's not even close.
Yeah, brother Ron, send me a message, brother, on Facebook. I got you.
Oh, last crypto news, and then we'll get into the silver short squeeze. Huge news today, M.I.M.S. Victory.
I need to do a money clap for the debt box.
Victory for the debt box. The SEC has dismissed the case. The U.S. District Court for the District of Utah has officially dismissed the SEC's case against us without prejudice. This means the case is closed, and any future action by the SEC would have to go through Judge Shelby. So again, thank you to Judge Shelby.
Nailed it.
You are the man, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, shout out Judge Shelby. You know, stuff like this brings back faith in our justice system. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes, definitely. With this is a significant win for us. It means that the SEC cannot proceed with the case as it stands. There's sanctions on the SEC. The court has imposed and required them to cover the attorney fees and costs that the debt box incurred during this legal battle. This is a significant step towards justice and transparency. So, again, huge win. So hopefully now the debt box will be able to proceed with their different, plans that they have for bringing on real world assets and, us continually getting paid on our NFTs.
Yeah. Now they can get back to the work of business and not be, bothered and troubled about what they can say, how they do, because there's an ongoing legal case, litigation taking place. So I'm excited to see what comes out of the council and the exciting developments from the projects and the roadmap and the plans for the future. Still very bullish on Debtbox, especially closing out 2024 and going into 2025.
Definitely. All right, so this is our key video today. Record number of CEOs left their companies in 2023 report fines. That's a 51% increase. So we're going to kind of get into this silver short squeeze. What is causing it, and what does that mean for you guys, and what you need to take action about doing right now?
HSBC and JP Morgan Chase. So you look at what do they do? What are they the biggest banks in the world of? Those two are number 1 and number 2 largest short sellers of silver on the planet. Those 2 banks. And now we're starting to see a short squeeze happening in silver, but we had 568 million ounces of silver being shorted, naked shorts, meaning they don't own the assets. They just put these futures contracts on them to shorts to drive the price down. Well, when you have a short position and the value of the underlying thing that you're shorting goes up, Alex, you lose money hand over fist in multiples, not dollar for dollar, but multiples. The day before Iran basically sent those drones into Israel, China made this announcement, said, hey, everybody in China, start buying silver. Don't just buy gold, buy silver.
You made the point that China was trying to call the naked shorts of the Western central banks.
Look at what's happened to silver since that time. Skyrocketing. You've got low supply, you've got high demand, you've got a short squeeze starting where the manufacturers of the world, the defense contractors, the aerospace industry, the fuel cell technology people, the solar people, they all need silver, and there's not much available because India has already committed to 66% of the world's supply.
I mean, let's just take a break here, M.I.M.S, and digest this.
Yeah.
India is buying up 66%. Just one country is buying up 66% of the world's entire silver production every single year.
Mm, mm. And like you said, Mike, that's India, and not to mention China. And I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about that with the solar panels. But I mean, just India alone, and this is why there's some people who see silver going a 1-to-1 ratio with gold.
Yep.
People really don't understand the use cases are in the thousands for physical silver. The reality that you live in today does not exist without physical silver. The technological revolution that we're emerging into doesn't exist without physical silver. Its properties, its conductivity. I mean, it's used in medicine. I mean, everything. And now it's having a role returned to as money. So that just adds more to it. And it's a supply and demand factor. There's not that much of it. Some of the beautiful things that we love about blockchain came from precious metals. You know, it only has, there's a supply and demand. The demand is outpacing the supply. And so this is why we're telling people physical silver is the most undervalued asset on the planet. And that's why it's so important that you have some and you continue to get it on a consistent basis. $32 on the spot price right now is nothing. It's nothing compared to what's to come.
Oh, amen. I couldn't say it any better. And I think they talk about this in one of the videos we're going to look at, but the big driver right now is not retail. So in the first short squeeze for silver, it was retail. It was Wall Street bets and that. And we couldn't compete against the big banks. They had too much money. But now you're going to see that it's not individual retail where this price increase is coming from. This is coming from industrial demand, mostly from solar panels, because the new solar panels that they're using are much better, and they need 20% more silver. In India and China and America and countries all over the world are going big time into the solar panel industry. So over 10,000 uses for silver, and it's just not out there. Others, you know, we talked about it last year. What was it, like 300 fake paper silver contracts to 1 ounce of real silver? You know, another stat that blew my mind this week was there's not enough silver for everyone on the planet that have just 2 ounces. If everybody went out just to buy 2 physical ounces of silver, it's all gone.
Supply this year. So here's where we've got this short squeeze happening. Physical supply coming out of inventory, not available for the manufacturers to purchase. And what has happened to the price of silver in the last 2.5 months? Literally, the last 75 days or so, silver's gone from 22.5 to almost 32. It's up like 45% in 2.5 months. And you've got those Western banks that have millions, hundreds of millions of ounces of silver short, and the price went up 45%. They are losing money hand over fist. So part of me says this kind of being on the wrong side of a price move when it's leveraged could cause HSBC and JP Morgan Chase to have a really, really, really big financial problem. And their CEOs are jumping ship. They're getting out of Dodge. Our firm is just different.
So, M.I.M.S, anything you want to kind of summarize when it comes to that video?
Banks are done. And I hope you realize that. There's no need for banks anymore. Okay? The banks are finished. They've been exposed, especially JP Morgan, for rigging and manipulating the markets. We have blockchain, and we no longer need them. And a lot of banks are getting ready to implode. We are in a banking crisis right now. You are going to see more banks collapse. Okay? The system is insolvent. There is no solution. And that's why you're seeing all of a sudden the Biden administration and Trump talking about they're friendly to crypto and passing crypto-friendly legislation and things of that nature, because they know it's inevitable. They can't beat them. You have to join them. They tried. They said it was rat poison. You know, they suppressed the price of silver down for decades. I mean, everything they could. But now it's at the point where there's nothing that can be done. There's nothing that can be done. And so this is your opportunity. This is our opportunity for those who got ears to hear and eyes to see and that take the action and apply it. they're doing something that's revolutionary. That's going to change their lives and the lives of their future generations to come. But for those who hear this information and falls on deaf ears and they do nothing, woe to them. Woe to them. All the signs are all around you. This
Not going to be
this
pretty.
is your time. It's about you. No, it's not going to be pretty at all. Yeah.
And just some more evidence on this, guys, is this was just from May 21st, and M.I.M.S talks about this all the time, the de-dollarization. China ramps up de-dollarization efforts by dumping a record amount of U.S. bonds. China sold a record 53.3 billion worth of treasuries and agency bonds in the first quarter, Bloomberg reported. It previously unloaded U.S. debt to prop up its yuan because, again, grown weak against a rallying dollar. The country is piling into gold, which now makes up the highest share of its reserve since 2015. So I think those are the big keys there, is that altogether, one estimate has calculated that the country has sold 300 billion of U.S. treasuries between 2021 and mid-23. China's selling grew to the point that markets were worried about higher yields. And I mean, M.I.M.S, you talk about de-dollarization all the time, so why don't you go ahead and just break that down?
Yeah, I mean, so when you look at the interest rates in the market, right, what you have is the de-dollarization and countries not only dumping treasuries, but not buying the treasuries. And what that means is that, you know, the rates will have to increase to entice investors to buy the bonds, which would lower the rate. And so when you look at the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve says, well, we have a target for interest rates, the Federal Reserve is not some, like, you know, wizard or, you know, the Wizard of Oz, and they can just press buttons and make these things happen. The Federal Reserve has to get in the market and manipulate the market to make these rates and markets reflect what they like to see. So what that means is that they're buying, you know, they create the debt, they issue the debt, and they're buying the debt. You talk about a Ponzi scheme. I mean, this is fraud on so many levels. You know, this is why the founding fathers of this country said that the worst thing that could ever happen to this country was a central bank. So when the Federal Reserve says we want lower rates, that means they're creating money value from nothing, and they're going and they're buying their own product. Okay, they're buying this product, and that is bringing the rates down. But there is no real demand for it. Same thing with the U.S. dollar. When the dollar went off the gold standard in 1971, there was no real need for people to hold dollars anymore because the dollar was no longer backed by gold. The dollar was just a piece of paper. Okay, now it's a weapon of mass destruction. When we went to Iraq looking for weapons of mass destruction, people don't realize that the main weapon of mass destruction across the globe is the U.S. dollar, right? It's not backed by anything. So in 1973, they set up a deal with Saudi and the oil OPEC nations to where everybody in the world, every country in the world had to buy oil with dollars. That created an artificial demand for dollars when there was none. And now we're seeing another revolutionary time, a point in history where we're seeing even OPEC nations are de-dollarizing, no longer want to take dollars for oils, making bilateral trade agreements, currency swaps, gold, silver, crypto, everything else. This is why it's so important that people understand this information, because this is going to hit the U.S. and U.S. citizens the hardest. The inflation that's coming, the taxes that are coming. They don't print trillions of dollars. On the last 4 years, printed more money than they've ever printed since the inception of this country, and they're not going to come and get that money through taxes. They're able to print and do all of this off of your backs. So you have to realize what's coming, and you have to prepare, because they're not going to tell you, and nobody's coming to save you.
That's why we call them M.I.M.S, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys appreciate the content we're dropping here tonight, like this, share it out, tag a few people, drop some comments down there. You guys know we're shadow banned, and you know they always try to suppress everything we do because they don't really want this information getting out. We appreciate all of you guys and all your support through the years. So we just got a couple more points left. M.I.M.S sent me this today. The perfect storm for a gigantic silver squeeze is coming together. Every dollar silver rises is putting massive losses onto the banking cabal's books. Banks will be forced to cover their paper shorts as their losses become unbearable, and the squeeze will take us to $500 an ounce. So you can see here, this is his chart. 900 million ounces shorted by the banking cabal. FDIC chairman resigning. By far the most shorted commodity on earth. And again, they're doing this because silver is so important. They want to keep the price low so that they can get more of the physical product. Because if it was actually priced accurately with a free and fair market, silver would already be well over $500.
Yeah, and what people need to understand about this squeezes, just like with GameStop, Robinhood, and Citadel, when they have these naked shorts and the underlying asset goes up in value, they have to cover their lost position by actually going in the market and buying the actual underlying asset to cover their position that they have on that asset. And what happens is they have to buy it at the now price that it is, which pushes the price up even higher. So this is why it's called a silver squeeze, and you can see massive growth in an asset, because not only do you have the original buying from the retail or whoever's doing the buying, but now the same institutions that were shorting it that are suffering massive losses, they have to cover those losses by getting in the market and buying the asset at a higher price, which pushes the price up even higher because they're trying to accumulate as much of it to cover their short. You see what I'm saying? So it just creates that compounding effect. And that's why these squeeze scenarios are so crazy, where you saw GameStop at what? It was a couple of dollars, $2, and then we saw it get as high as what, 300 or something. What was it at the peak? It got up to hundreds of dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
280, I think.
it got up to 100. Yeah, but that's because they had to come back in and cover their shorts. So it's the same thing with silver. But now understand, there's not that much physical silver. For every 1 ounce contract of silver, there are 300, almost 400 contracts issued for 1 ounce of silver. So there's 1 ounce of silver, and there's 400 contracts all laying claim to that 1 ounce of silver. So this is something. This is why some people, when you really look at all this data and you put this stuff together, okay, this is why some people see silver going 1-to-1 ratio with gold. This is why some people are saying an ounce of silver will be able to buy you an acre of land. When you start to understand the massive, running, escaping from the paper money because of the inflation, the bad monetary policy, so many other dynamics, these assets are going to take off, and it's going to get to a point where you might not be able to buy silver. Nobody's going to sell it. What you see right now, people can sell it because we still kind of operating in a fiat dollar paradigm. We still need paper. It still buys you stuff. But what happens when you're in a situation like Venezuela, where they're throwing the money in the streets? Weimar, Germany, where people were using the money as wallpaper. What happens when there's a wheelbarrow full of cash and nobody wants the cash? They want your wheelbarrow, right? Nobody's going to sell this to you. You have to get it now, or you won't be able to get it. You're going to be a pauper. There's only princes and paupers. It's poor. You're either going to be, it's really the have or have nots. And this is your last chance to put yourself in a position to be a part of the haves. That's how critical and that's how timely this situation is.
No, 100%, man. That was fire.
Yeah, boy.
So let me explain this first. So what we're talking about here is nearly 85 million digital ounces of IOU silver. That's what M.I.M.S was talking about. Traded in New York futures over the past 45 minutes. Big battle near $32 to $33 an ounce. Looks like paper attack is on. So you can see here, look at the volume here, because it shot up naturally. And then this is the bank shorting it down by creating more fake paper IOUs to short it. And we can see here, I was wrong. I thought it was 300, but it's almost 400 fake paper silver ETFs to 1 ounce of silver. Okay. So there's almost 400 people in the world who think they own an ounce of silver, but yet only one of them has it. The other 398 have nothing. They have a fake paper contract, an IOU of an IOU of an IOU. So this is why it is so important, while we still can, to get as much physical silver and gold in your own possession as quickly as possible. M.I.M.S, anything you want to add when it comes to the paper to silver ratio here?
Yeah. Look, folks, I don't know how many ways we can say it. You know, there's so much data, there's so much resources, there's so much information out here. You just look, it's a trend, folks. Look at the trend. Obviously, the dollar is collapsing in value. Like I said, 99% of its purchasing power lost since its inception. And then we see where gold and silver are in an uptrend, especially now where we are in the economy. So, you know, I don't know how many ways to say it. You know, we can scream it, we can whisper it, you know, we can type it, we can talk it, you know, but the whole point is you got to do something. You know, reach out to me, reach out to Mike, reach out to whoever shared this video with you. More than likely, they're in position to help you get access to these assets, especially physical silver and gold, without having to pay a markup.
That's it. And I wanted to pull back a little bit and just we really don't ever look at the full silver chart. So this let me zoom in a little bit. I really can't. This big spike right here happened in like 1979, 1980. Okay, if you guys don't know what happened there, that's when interest rates went up above 20%. This was Paul Volcker with Reagan, and they wanted to basically suck the money out of the economy to get us past the 70s and stagflation with Carter. It's also around the Hunt brothers. Actually, I think this was the Hunt brothers. No, maybe they were then. I can't remember. They were somewhere in the 80s. They tried to corner the silver market, and then the government, you know, took them down. We had the big run up in 2011. So to me, M.I.M.S, I'm seeing a cup and handle here. And I think we're just now starting to shoot out from this,
Yeah.
you know, fake suppression.
No, we're going higher. We're going higher, folks. Silver will break over 50. I honestly believe that, and I'm being modest, you will see that by the end of this year. Okay? I'm being super modest. But I definitely believe you will see silver break over 50 by the end of this year.
Yep. And then that becomes the new floor, I think.
Oh, without a doubt.
And then, you know, who knows how high we go.
Yeah. Yeah, the world is in a place it's never been before. You know, it's like Jenga. You know, it's that needle in the haystack. It's just that one little thing, and we have so much geopolitical tension, wars, and I mean, it's just so much division. I mean, it's just a lot that's going on, and it's aimed at the West, and the world is not happy with the West on its foreign policy, militarily supporting countries in their wars and things of that nature. And of course, obviously, with the banking system and the weaponization of the monetary system, the sanctions, the weaponization of the dollar, and everything else. We've been watching this play out for some time with the wars in the Middle East and going after Gaddafi, going after Saddam, you know what I mean, and Afghanistan and everything else. And people starting to understand that all wars are banker wars. The bankers win on both sides. And so we're in an information age. You know, and this is everything we're seeing has been prophesied. You know, we're in the information age. Information is at your fingertips, and it's up to you to take action with the information.
And this, let's end on a positive note tonight, M.I.M.S. This, I couldn't believe this happened. Former President Donald Trump is reportedly considering using Bitcoin to address the U.S. national debt, which is over $34 trillion. Can Bitcoin help solve the U.S. debt crisis? Let us know in the comments. Now, I never thought we could pay back the debt. But if someone does this, it actually might be a possibility. I'd never even considered it, kind of doing it like MicroStrategies does. I mean, the good thing is when the government sells something, they don't have to pay taxes. So, I mean, if they would have, you know, what do we say? The price of Bitcoin went up, you know, your 1,200 would be worth 12 grand now from 2020. So I thought this was really interesting and something that I hope that our country does embrace, because right now I see it as really the only way out.
Yeah, I mean, look, eminent domain. We take the assets, take the gold, we got it, and then the assets and everything gets revalued. We pay the bad money with the good money, and you know, it's over with. You know, but yeah, I never thought of it that way either, Mike. But I think it's it could get done. You know, to actually pay this down, but you know, there's so many variables, there's so many dynamics taking place with this corporation and with the citizens of the corporation and things of this nature that, you know, it's being rewritten. Literally, people are being set free. And if you don't realize that, you're going to recontract yourself back into servitude, into slavery. And so it's just important that you follow the right people, that you absorb the right information, and you take the right action.
That's it. Well, guys, like we said at the beginning, we are on a 30-day blitz to help as many people get educated on gold and silver and learn how to get it at the lowest prices anywhere in the world. And we just had some huge announcements tonight that we are getting our ACH payments this week. So we'll be able to pay in ACH, get paid in ACH, pay international. So this brings on, you know, it's just going to go global, guys, because we have the best thing smoking out here. M.I.M.S, any last words for tonight?
Lace up, let's get wealthy. Get back to the person that invited you out. Look, nobody coming to save you. We can't do it for you. You know, it's meant to be done by you. So you got to ask for the link. You got to hop on the Zooms. You got to create the account. You got to get the assets. We can only lead you to the water, can't make you drink it. Lace up, let's get wealthy. We catch you on the next live stream.
Perfect.